Hello, my name is Andrew Washington. I'm with On the Real with Andrew, and today I am talking to UFC legend and UFC Hall of Famer, MMA fighter, all of that turned actor, Bass or Boss?
Boss.
Boss. Okay, I don't want to get it wrong. I'm going to start one more time.
Yeah.
Hello. My name is Andrew Washington. I'm with On the Real with Andrew, and I'm here speaking today with Bas Rutten. He is a UFC Hall of Famer, MMA legend turned actor, and is starring in the new Benny Safdie slash The Rock feature, The Smashing Machine, playing himself. Um, First, I wanted to ask you, well, first, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me. But I first wanted to ask you, how did it feel bringing a story that you were so closely related to the big screen?
I felt great about it because it's not everything is a Rocky movie and has a happy ending and you think everything goes the way it should go, you know. I think sometimes to see a movie like this in where you find out that, you know, what you see on the screen is not really what's going on in his life. You know, in a fighter's life, it can be a male or a female, doesn't really matter, you know, it is, but they have a home situation. If the home situation is not good, you know, so to bring this movie, which is a true story, and that's the crazy part, because when people go to see it, they go like, wow, this is crazy. And to find out that there's, you know, that through that all with the home situation being very toxic between the both of them, because both had their faults, of course, and then still be able to start fighting, but then, you know, going into the wrong areas, going into drugs. And why is he doing the drugs? I know it starts with pain, but maybe it is also to dampen a little bit the mind for when he comes back home. You don't know anymore, you know. But what they did is they made it so real. It is so amazing. So I think authenticity, I think is everything for people. And now they can see it. Now they can see not everything is what you think it is. There's a lot going on in a fighter's life, and you know what? Actually, any professional will have to say. Musicians. I mean, I guess everybody has that problem. You know, how is the situation at home? Is everything nice? You know, because of course everything needs to flow into each other, and if that flows, if they get
Right.
the magic combination, like I have with my wife, thankfully, but she's with me for 33 years before it all started. You know, like a year and a half before this whole thing came out, this new sport, free fighting. So, and once you have that, I think you know you can excel, and when you don't have it, well, then you see what can happen in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. I for in terms of your role in Mark's life, and the character that you play in the movie, would you say it was easier or harder for you to play real life, to play yourself as opposed to a character in any of your past work?
No, no. But of course that's a reason. But first of all, people have to understand, you know, like my acting coach, my first acting coach, I started acting right away when I came to America. In 97, I signed up classes because I knew eventually after I stopped fighting, I wanted to do something in stunts. That was originally the idea, original. But
Hmm.
then, you know, I start getting offers, so then I start doing that. Um, the thing was the acting coach, the first class, he said, once people start saying that you just played yourself, he says that's the biggest compliment you can get. Because everybody on camera starts behaving different. You know, I
Right.
always give this example that if you walk on the street and you think, oh, it's a good day, and suddenly there's a group of six ladies and they're very beautiful ladies, and they look at you and they all stop talking and they keep looking at you.
Mhm.
You start behaving different. You start walking different. You start doing different things because you become very self-conscious. And that's kind of with the movie also. But of course, you get used to that. The more you do it, the more in front of your camera you are. You get
Mhm.
used to it. And you have a director like Benny Safdie, who is, you know, is the most calm guy. Now, I've been fortunate to have been working with Kevin James as well, and Andy, the coach of that director, also is one of those guys. Like Kevin doesn't want to hang out with people who are screaming. You know, it simply doesn't work. It's not good for the actors. I don't know why some directors are doing it, but they go really hard down on their on the actors. And I think you shouldn't do that. And Benny is the opposite. Benny is like it's all family. Everybody's happy. We're playing music. He's bringing his boombox everywhere. There's always music going on, and he's figuring things out. You know. And then when Dwayne walked in, DJ walked in, as Kerr, it, it was really like from the very first day. I tell this in other interviews. The first thing he did was he hugged me and give me a big kiss on my head. And I was looking, and then I realized that's Mark. Mark would always do that to me, if you didn't see me for a while. So he was right away in character. The way he was walking, the way he was talking, the facial movements, even with crying and laughing. I was like, what the heck, man? It's like, it's him. I remember we were watching the movie about 6 weeks ago here in my hometown. They screened it for us, for the family only, they said. And my wife was freaking out. She goes, oh my God. I go, what? She goes, it's him. It's Mark. I go, right? And
Right.
that's why it made me very easy to do this. Because I get the script, and there's lines in the script, which came from the documentary, of course.
Yeah.
So things that I already said, but Benny says, listen, this is the direction you're going to go, but you do whatever you want to say. You do whatever you want to do. It's you. I can't tell you what to do because it's you.
Right.
So that made it also very comfortable. So I just started teaching like I would teach Mark. And then if you have the feeling that nobody's watching you, because that's the way it is, there's no big lightings with Benny Safdie everywhere in your face. And wait, and this, and God, and it's just like just sitting in, like I'm sitting here in my man cave and we were drinking a bunch of beers with a bunch of friends. It's that relaxed. And then when you really teach a person, and that's what we also did. We talked globally over what I would teach him, but I didn't give him details on purpose.
Mhm.
Because then when the scene comes, if the scene is good, most of the time it's one take. People go like, whoa, that was it. Oh, we don't want to do another one. No, no, this one is good.
Right.
Because you're teaching him literally at that particular moment what to do. So for him, it's new. Now I'm invested because I really want to teach him that. You
Right.
see, and then it comes over natural. So it's all that combination of DJ being so cur and then Benny Safdie keeping everything so relaxed that I think it was a much easier job than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the fight scenes, and the fighting. What how did those go? How closely are they to choreograph to real life? Were they actually hitting each other? Because it kind of felt like it at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a general kind of about the fighting in the movie.
The stunt coordinator was really great. Greg's dad and his team, these guys were freaking pros. Very good also with martial arts, all of the martial arts, and they're doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and Kerr was working with them as well. And what they did is they took the fights, and we literally they take this is how they checked it. They would shoot the fight, and then they would put the result next to the real fight, and it had to be identical. They didn't want to make this Hollywood. They didn't want to add kicks and did he never throws and is flying this and he says no, that didn't happen. This is what happened. Let's make it real. Like when he is in Brazil, he's rubbing his finger in the cut of an eye from an eye, tried to open the cut even more. Well, you can see this in the real fight. It's all identical to it. There was a review that I read. Oh, the fights are not real. And I go like, dude, they were the most real there was. They're literally, you can put them next to each other. The little
Right.
movements when Coleman runs out of the ring and then instead of going through the ropes, he bounces up against the ropes and he falls back in the ring and then he runs back out. All that is identical to what really happened. You
Mhm.
see, so and I think once you start doing that, the people feel that they know it's real, and
Right.
then you realize also what if you see Kerr, he's such a nice guy and such a sweetheart. You go like, how is it even possible when this guy fights? And then in the fight, he's in the guard and he grabs somebody's head and he lifts it up. And while he lifts it up, he headbutts him back. And it does that like 4 or 5 times in a row. I go like, dude, where does the other person come from?
Right.
He's so violent. And then they stop the fight. He gets up. And then the only thing he's doing, he's looking at his opponent because he's freaking out. He wants his opponent. He doesn't want to hurt his opponent, but he just did that. You see that conflict that is going on, that struggle. Like, yeah, I won and I want to win in front of all these people, but I hurt a person, and when he comes back to himself, that's not what he wants to be. It's really weird. I've seen him in fights ripping a guy off from the ropes, and I just went to town. All the referees jumped on top, and he thrown the referees off. He got angry, because the guy was cheating. He was holding the rope so he couldn't be taken down and start elbowing in the back of the neck. And at the second time he did that, oh, he got angry and he just ripped him off the ropes and threw him down. And then he just went to town. It's like, whoa, okay, that's a whole different person than I know. So, yeah, it's cool. It's really cool to see. It's cool for the people to see as well. The warmth between the fighters. You will see that after he lost the fight and they react with the fighter he lost to. It's all in the movie. I think people gonna really have their eyes opened about the brotherhood that goes on, especially in fighting. I always say we're very close to fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Um, I kind of want to switch gears a little bit to ask my next question. You mentioned your work with Kevin James earlier, and it's actually quite funny because I know you're talking about Here Comes the Boom, the film. I don't have my DVD copy with me currently, but when I was younger, my brother and I used to watch that movie all the time. And I actually rewatched it last night in, kind of preparation for this. Very funny movie. Your performance is great. It's a great family movie for anyone listening if you haven't seen it. And also one of the few films that I know about MMA and UFC specifically. I mean, outside of this, but there's not, you were kind of talking earlier, there's not too many films specifically about UFC and MMA fighting. Um, but I kind of want to ask and connect those two films because the roles you play are a bit similar. What did you learn from your experience on Here Comes the Boom that you specifically brought to your role here in the Smashing Machine as far as acting goes?
No, just being relaxed in front of the camera, I think that's everything. It's like fighting. It took me like 7, 8 fights to get calm, and a lot of fighters have that because we think if we were great in the gym, then we're great fighters, but it doesn't work like that. Because once you fight, all the family members and everybody's watching, there's a lot of pressure. You don't want to make mistakes because you can win by many ways, but you can also lose by many ways. You make a wrong mistake, you be taken down, something happens, so if you can fight and it suddenly clicks, if it's some fighters, very rarely. I maybe had like 3 students, and I had a lot of students that
Mhm.
right away started fighting like they did in a gym. But that's a very rare thing. Every other fighter will tell you it takes a while to really get everything under control and go, okay, oh wow, okay, this is it. Oh, this is fun. Then it becomes really fun. It's like in the beginning with fighting, I was more nervous to do interviews than fighting because I simply never did that. And now suddenly the camera's on me and it's live, and I was freaking out. But then people go more worried. I say, yeah, fighting I do twice, 3 times a day. But interviews I never did. But you do 10 interviews and suddenly it becomes normal, and then you get used to it.
Yeah.
So I had all that experience with Kevin, and then I did some episodes on the King of Queens. Then he came
Mhm.
out with Kevin Can Wait. I did like
Yes.
22 episodes there, and it was
Yes.
all I was going to be one of the cast members, but unfortunately they canceled the show at that time. But you see, all that experience, you bring that to a fight, and yes, I was kind of the same guy. I was much that was the first time I got that what the acting coach said, because everybody was telling me, "Man, you just played yourself." I go, "Thank you," because the acting coach telling me that. And by the way, I need to come back for something also. But first of all, Kevin James, uh, the way he's hitting the pads, the way I mean, it's better than a whole bunch of pros I know. And his hand-eye coordination is really good. And it was this cool moment at the very end when he lifts up Krzysztof Sosinski and he throws him down
Yeah.
and he knocks him out like that.
Ambition for the movie.
Yeah. But so they bring in a crane, right?
Right.
Because everything needs to be filmed, controlled. But
Mhm.
Kevin is there with 750 extras are there, the public audience that they move every time from scenes, so they're there and then they're there. It's really cool how that works.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, can everybody's attention?" He says, "Put me a number." And he puts him up and he lifts him above his head, like literally like I'm doing right now. And he puts him back and he lifts him up and he puts him back and he does it 3 times all the way up, puts him down. He says, "Saw that? Yeah, okay, now bring the crane in." He says, "Because otherwise everybody's going to say I can't do that." You
Right.
know? And sure enough, when we went to the screening, this woman was sitting next to me, who was constantly complaining, a writer. She goes, "Yeah, right." I said, "Get the Blu-ray." I said, "Because it's on the Blu-ray when he's doing it." And with DJ, this is a funny story because I was sitting in the dressing room there, and he was talking to Yoko. Yoko was the guy who played Fujita,
Mhm.
and who at a certain point hits him really freaking hard. Now I heard afterwards that the reason why the DJ asked if he wanted to hit him hard. So what I find out, what I pick up is that DJ says, "Hey Yoko, I want you to hit me in this next scene. That punch, that hard punch that dazes me. just freaking landed. He says, "Don't knock me out," because Yoko's a professional fighter as well. He goes,
Right.
"But you can freaking go. I'm okay with that." And Yoko goes, "No, I don't want to do this." And then he says, "Yeah, but please, man, it's going to be good for the movie." "No, I don't want to do this." "Yeah, but I said it." "But you," blah, blah. And it goes back and forth, and I get fed up. I'm sitting there, I'm overhearing this, I'm eavesdropping, and I go, "Yoko," I go, "Dude, it's the freaking Rock." I said, "Just hit him in the freaking head, okay? Jeez." And The Rock goes, "Oh, okay, wait, 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 wait. Don't knock me out." And every time when I watch the trailer, because the punch is in the trailer, oh,
Hmm.
he hits him, and he hits
Hmm.
him hard, And afterwards, he was telling me, he goes, "Yeah, I was literally dazed off that freaking punch because he landed a really good one." So, he still thinks, yeah, thanks to Boss the Loudmouth, he says, freaking Yoko hit me really freaking hard. So he wanted that. He wanted to feel the audience to feel it, what he felt, and the pain, and that's what people are going to find out in this. Once you're down, you can be down. Some of these fighters, when they win, it's like, yeah, but if they lose, they're completely wrecked. And Mark was one of those guys. I always thought, well, I guess I need to get better, right? That was my way of dealing with it. I partied just as hard as I did when I won, so there's always an excuse for drinking, right? But that's what people are going to see now, and how much it hurts them. And then if you have Emily, the way she acted, like Oppenheimer, when you see that, she got a nomination for even the Quiet Place and all these great freaking movies. I was making a joke to her. I said, "Oppenheimer, eh." I said, and just, I said, "But here you're pretty shining." And I don't know if she got the joke because in both she was freaking unbelievable. But see, man, it's freaky. The little tiny thing she does in this movie just before a fight starts, having this little smirk on her face, like she wants it. She wants confrontation, and she acted that so well, and being uninterested but acting like she's interested in him. Yeah, he says it's such a great feeling. You're fighting at 48,000 people. She goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I can understand this, but you can tell she doesn't give a crap, and she did that so well. Yeah, I'm really excited for the people to see all that. The acting is also bizarre. And Ryan Bader, I
Hmm.
gotta tell you, man, did you see the movie
I have.
already?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have.
I told him, I go, "Dude, you're very good.
Oh
You did a
yeah.
good job." So, and even Alexander Usyk, the way he comes in, all relaxed, smiling. Hey, yeah, I was very impressed with the cast. It was good, a good cast, a good experience.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing movie. And you have an amazing performance. Everybody in the movie's so great. I'm so glad that I was able to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time. I know the 15 minutes is up. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you and thank you again for doing this again.
You're very welcome, Andrew, man. We've all been there. So happy to do it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. You said you're in Texas right now, right?
I'm in Texas. Yeah, we did the whole freaking press bucket today, and then Friday we leave with the family. So the girls are excited. They're already older, 24, 28, but the other one lives in California, so she goes there to the premiere and the
Hmm.
red carpet, the whole thing. It's cool. The last time they did that was with Here Comes the Boom.
Uh,
They were puppies, they were like 12 and 16 or something. So, so
yeah, no,
it's fun for them also to experience that and then experience the complete opposite, going from a comedy to a freaking heavy drama,
right.
So, yeah, I always wanted to do action comedy, but when I saw this, I go like, wow, it's a powerful movie. I think people are gonna love it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think so too. Okay, thank you so much.
You're
And I
very welcome,
will,
brother.
yes, thank you
Oh,
for the
that's a
recording.
karate greeting.
Say one more.
That's a karate greeting.
Karate
Awesome,
greeting.
right? That's what they
Awesome.
always say. A
Right?
lot of people say os. I go, "Oh, you're saying it wrong." What? What? Yeah, it's Japanese. It comes from two words, oshi and shinobu, and they made osu from it. So you say osu, and it means
Awesome.
push and endure, to push and endure. So if you feel down, you don't want to do an extra round, we all go osu up, and we go again. We just got to push and endure, and that's what
Yes,
you need to do in every profession in order to get there. So
yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you so much.
you're welcome, brother.
Have a good
Take
day.
care.
Bye.
Bye.